if you think back to, I guess, the early 2010s, there was this incredible Wild West period in offices everywhere.
Oh, the shadow IT era.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly, where employees were just quietly setting up personal Dropbox accounts or, downloading their own rogue task managers, basically using whatever software they wanted to share files because the official corporate tools were just, well, they were unbearably clunky.
They were awful, and IT departments were having absolute nightmares over this.
Total nightmares. And eventually, enterprises just had to step in. They locked the perimeters down and built these secure, strategic cloud infrastructures. And looking through the stack of research we've got in front of us today, specifically the July 6th, 2026 edition of your weekly AI Pulse, it is just abundantly clear that the exact same shadow IT era just ended for artificial intelligence.
It really has.
Yeah. So welcome to our deep dive for today, where we are unpacking this massive paradigm shift. The era of individualized, bring your own AI is, frankly, dead.
Yeah, it's completely over. We are firmly entering what you could call the institutional age of enterprise AI. I mean, that raw technological innovation phase where everyone was just like marveling at what a generative model could do in a simple chat window, that is behind us.
Right.
We're watching a massive institutional transformation take its place.
And Alibaba actually just provided like the ultimate case study for this. They explicitly ban their employees from using Anthropic's Claude code.
Which is huge.
It is. They aren't just discouraging it. It's a hard ban.
Yeah.
And reading through the internal memos from the sources, this is not some, minor IT policy update about saving bandwidth.
No, not at all. The stakes have simply grown too high to treat AI like a glorified calculator. I mean, an AI platform, by its very nature, it requires deep access to function properly, right?
Right. It needs to see everything.
Exactly. If an engineer is using an external AI tool to help write code, that model is ingesting proprietary logic, database structures, internal workflows. So Alibaba's ban is a blunt instrument for sure, but the underlying motivation is technology sovereignty.
Yeah.
You just cannot afford to have your core intellectual property flowing out to a third-party server in California just because, an employee wanted a faster way to debug a script.
Well, let's unpack the alternative, though. Because if you strip these individualized, highly capable tools away from employees,
Yeah.
you have to replace them with something better, right? Or productivity just craters.
Oh, absolutely.
And the sources point to this massive shift in how these replacements are being built. Companies are completely abandoning the concept of the standalone assistant. They are turning AI into the actual operating layer of the business.
Yeah, and Anthropic's current strategy is a really perfect lens for this. So they just rolled out Claude Sonnet 5, right? But what flew under the radar is that they also restored a model called Mythos and are aggressively developing Fable.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they aren't trying to build one monolithic, all-knowing brain to just sit on everyone's desktop anymore. They are building a highly specialized, multi-model ecosystem.
Which, honestly, the compute economics behind that are fascinating. I mean, if you're a massive enterprise, running every single query through a frontier model like Opus is just financial suicide.
Yeah, it's way too expensive. And too slow.
Exactly. It's like using a sledgehammer to crack a nut.
Right. Because a compliance officer auditing thousands of financial records, they require a model with absolute precision, rigorous governance, total auditability. But a software engineer, they need rapid iteration, logical leaps, speed.
Yeah.
So an enterprise platform now acts as a router. It assesses the workload and silently delegates it to the most efficient model in the ecosystem.
Oh, so maybe a massive model for the complex logic, and then a smaller, cheaper, faster model for just routine data extraction.
Exactly. The orchestration platform matters far more now than the individual models it contains.
And HP is doing exactly this with OpenAI's models right now. They are embedding that intelligence across their entire enterprise ecosystem.
Yeah, completely invisible.
Right. They aren't giving employees a separate chat interface to log into. The intelligence is baked directly into the supply chain software, the HR portals, the CRM. It's coordinating tasks behind the scenes.
And Microsoft's frontier company vision, it really codifies this entire architectural shift. They've published this blueprint for the AI native enterprise, and it functions a lot like an onion.
Oh, I want to spend a second on this onion metaphor, actually, because it really clicked for me when I visualized what it does to a company's org chart.
Yeah, it's a great way to look at it. So at the very center, the core layer, you have the basic AI tools, just the everyday generative features we are all used to.
Right.
But peeling back the next layer reveals AI engineering, and this is the custom infrastructure, the data pipelines, the internal guardrails built to connect those basic tools to the company's proprietary data.
And then the layer beyond that is where it gets really disruptive, which is organizational design. I mean, if you're a mid-level manager listening to this, this is where your KPIs completely change.
Oh, for sure.
Because instead of 10 junior copywriters using ChatGPT to write marketing emails, you might just have one senior AI editor who acts as an orchestrator for a team of autonomous AI agents. The physical structure of who reports to whom and how work is handed off has to fundamentally change.
And then the outermost layer is business strategy itself. When AI is the operating layer coordinating the flow of work across your entire organization, it ceases to be an IT concern, It dictates how the company actually competes.
Right.
Look at retail. Just 2 years ago, AI in retail was basically a reactive recommendation engine. You put a tent in your digital cart, and a model suggested a sleeping bag.
Yeah, customers also bought, basically.
Exactly. But now it's predictive enterprise intelligence. The AI detects a spike in search intent for camping gear in a specific geographic region, and before a single purchase is even made, it's already rerouting physical inventory in the back-end supply chain to local warehouses.
Wow.
Or look at Wimbledon. They're using IBM's AI to ingest live match data, player biomechanics, crowd noise, not to just generate a post-game summary, but to dynamically alter the digital viewing experience for 1 million fans in real time.
Wait, I need to throw a flag on the play here.
Go for it.
Because the picture we're painting of the Microsoft onion and this invisible operating layer, it sounds incredibly efficient, right? But also a bit dystopian for the human worker.
Uh-oh.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
If the AI is orchestrating all the workflows, predicting the inventory, and dynamically managing the tasks, aren't we just turning human employees into APIs?
That is a very valid concern.
Like, I'm just sitting at my desk waiting for the AI orchestrator to ping me with my next microtask. Where's the agency?
Yeah, well, that is the exact existential dread hanging over middle management right now. The utopian view, the one sold by the vendors, is that the AI handles the mundane execution, freeing the human up for deep strategy and creative problem solving.
Right, the classic pitch.
But the reality of implementing this at scale often looks exactly like what you just described, a highly demanding, algorithmic boss that treats human workers as basically biological subroutines for the tasks it can't quite complete yet.
Which introduces just an enormous amount of friction.
Yeah.
As these AI agents move from, drafting polite emails to executing massive, complex workflows autonomously, they really break out of the sandbox. We are dealing with agentic AI now. And autonomous agents colliding with enterprise governance is, I think, the biggest bottleneck in the industry today.
Well, without a doubt. And the regulatory bodies are suddenly wide awake to this. So the Bank of England just published a highly targeted regulatory focus on autonomous systems within financial institutions.
I saw that.
Yeah, and it's fascinating because when a system is merely advising a human trader, the liability rests with the human. But when you deploy an agentic AI that can ingest market data, formulate a trading strategy, and then execute multi-step financial transactions entirely on its own, the risk profile changes entirely.
Oh, yeah. Oops, the model hallucinated is not going to fly in front of a parliamentary committee when $3 billion just evaporates.
Exactly. So the Bank of England is demanding hard architecture. They require strict human approval thresholds, unalterable audit trails, and mathematically defined decision boundaries. The core leadership question has shifted dramatically since 2024. Back then, it was a race to see, can our AI do this?
Right.
Today, enterprise boards are asking, just because our AI is capable of acting autonomously, should we let it?
But see, this brings us to what I call the automation paradox. The entire value proposition of an autonomous agent is that it saves human time, right?
In theory, yeah.
But if I deploy an agent to manage localized supply chain adjustments, and then the Bank of England, or just my own internal compliance team, requires me to monitor, audit, review, and manually approve every single micro decision the agent makes, I haven't saved any time.
Not at all.
I've just replaced the exhausting work of managing a supply chain with the equally exhausting work of babysitting an algorithm.
Yes. And that babysitting problem leads directly to alert fatigue, where humans just start blindly rubber stamping the AI decisions, completely defeating the purpose of having governance in the first place.
Exactly.
Which is why human-in-the-loop design has evolved from just a marketing buzzword into probably the hardest engineering problem in the field right now. You have to design systems capable of calculating their own uncertainty.
Wait, so the AI has to know what it doesn't know.
Exactly. The agent must evaluate a scenario and mathematically determine its confidence level. So if the confidence is 99% and the action falls below a predefined financial risk threshold, it just executes autonomously.
Okay, that makes sense.
But if the confidence drops to, say, 85%, or the action involves moving highly sensitive IP, it halts and escalates to a human. So we're designing for responsible autonomy, not total autonomy.
And building that kind of responsible autonomy requires an entirely new layer of digital infrastructure, mostly based on verification. I mean, I was blown away by the partnership and the sources between Qualcomm and Scam AI to introduce the Halo deepfake detection model.
Oh, that is such a cool development.
Right. What's revolutionary here isn't just that it detects deepfakes, it's how it does it. They are moving the verification entirely to the edge.
Yeah, and for those who might not be deep in the hardware weeds, running a model at the edge means executing the compute locally, directly on the silicon of your smartphone or laptop without ever sending the data back to the cloud.
And the latency reduction is the whole point of that.
Yeah.
If I'm on a live video call with a vendor and I need to verify that I'm talking to a real human and not an incredibly sophisticated deepfake, I can't wait for my device to stream video frames to a cloud server, wait for processing, and then wait for a response.
No, the call would just lag into oblivion.
Exactly. Running Halo locally on the Qualcomm chip means instant, real-time authentication.
Plus, it solves the privacy issue. You aren't streaming sensitive corporate video calls to some external verification vendor. The trust economy is becoming, honestly, just as lucrative as the generative economy. Verifying that a piece of digital media or a workflow action is genuinely human is becoming foundational enterprise infrastructure.
And we're seeing society broadly demand this kind of verification too. Midjourney is actively lobbying for Hollywood studios to publicly disclose their use of AI in film production. They want transparency baked right into the culture.
Which is so interesting coming from an AI company.
Totally. And then you have Google running commercials showing their AI helping to write the Declaration of Independence. That ad is a fascinating cultural litmus test.
Oh, it really is.
They aren't selling a feature there. They are poking the public consciousness to see how comfortable we are with an algorithm participating in the most sacred, historically significant human moments.
Yeah, because society is the one establishing the boundaries now. The technology is entirely capable of generating a film or drafting a legal charter, but cultural acceptance is dictating where we want AI to assist and where we demand human authenticity remain totally untouched.
So we've laid out how AI is being highly governed, how it's moving to the edge for security, and how it's becoming the operating system for corporate workflows. But the Pulse report points to a much bigger horizon. What happens when you point this governed, institutionalized intelligence at the physical world?
Massive.
The shift toward massive scientific breakthroughs is just staggering. AI is no longer just a productivity tool. It is raw research infrastructure.
Yeah, the collaboration between NVIDIA and Anthropic to build the BioNeMo platform is a watershed moment. They are essentially taking the reasoning capabilities of Claude and creating a highly specialized, insulated scientific environment for drug discovery and molecular biology.
And this completely breaks how we traditionally evaluate whether an AI is actually smart, right? For the last few years, we've relied on these generic benchmark scores. We'd celebrate because a new model passed the bar exam or scored in the 90th percentile on a high school biology test.
All right, a trivia test.
Yeah, but passing a multiple choice test just proves the model is incredibly good at predicting the next word based on a massive corpus of human text.
Yeah.
It doesn't prove it can reason through a novel scientific problem.
Exactly. Which is why OpenAI's introduction of GeneBench Pro is such a big deal. It abandons those generic trivia tests entirely. It evaluates a model strictly on outcome-driven, real-world scientific impact.
I just love looking at the mechanics of GeneBench Pro. It doesn't ask the AI to define a protein. It gives the AI raw, unstructured biological data and asks it to simulate how a novel molecule will bind to a specific cell wall under certain temperature conditions.
Wow.
It's evaluating actual biological reasoning. It's the difference between hiring a polymath who just absolutely dominates at local pub trivia versus hiring a highly specialized PhD to work with you in a wet lab.
That's a great analogy.
You don't care if the PhD knows the capital of Peru. You care if their understanding of chemistry can help you cure a disease.
Spot on. And, as these models become capable of accelerating a nation's scientific output like that, The geopolitical landscape fractures. The monopoly that Silicon Valley has held over generative AI is breaking apart in real time.
And the rise of Mistral AI in Europe is the clearest signal of this multipolar AI race. They
Hmm.
aren't just building a European version of ChatGPT, they are championing open-weight models,
Yeah.
which completely changes the power dynamic.
It really does, because with the closed model, a company or a government has to send their data via API to a server controlled by a massive tech giant. But with an open weight model, the weights, which are the actual learned mathematical parameters that make the AI intelligent, they're freely available to download.
You essentially get to just download the brain and run it on your own hardware.
Exactly. For European governments and massive enterprises, this is the holy grail of regional AI sovereignty. They can align the model with local regulatory standards, keep their data entirely on premises, and basically sever their dependence on foreign tech monopolies. The global demand for sovereign intelligence infrastructure is decentralizing the entire industry.
Which brings us to perhaps the most complex challenge of all in the report,
Mm.
Japan's national vision for AI-powered robotics.
Oh, this is fascinating.
They are taking these domestic sovereign AI models and putting them inside physical humanoid robots. And this isn't for flashy tech demos. Japan is facing a severe existential demographic crisis. They have a rapidly aging population and a massive workforce shortage. They genuinely need physical labor.
Yeah, and the fascinating takeaway from the Japanese initiative is that the intelligence of the AI is no longer the bottleneck. Yeah. The models can easily comprehend the steps required to cook a meal, or organize a warehouse, or assist an elderly patient out of bed. The bottleneck is the physical world itself.
Or yeah, it's the ultimate trust exercise.
Yeah,
I mean, if a chatbot hallucinates, you get a weird email. If a humanoid robot hallucinates while helping someone out of bed, you have a physical catastrophe.
exactly. Earning human trust in physical space requires a level of safety engineering that just dwarfs digital governance. A robot must prove it can interpret unexpected physical resistance, calculate spatial uncertainty in milliseconds, and fail safely 100% of the time. Until that trust is established, these machines will never leave the laboratory environments.
So taking a step back, looking at this entire landscape, if Japan's physical robots and Qualcomm's edge detection chips and the Bank of England's financial regulations all prove that safety and trust are the actual hurdles to adoption, it begs a massive macroeconomic question.
Let's hear it.
Will the ultimate winner of this global AI race actually be the region with the smartest, most mathematically capable models? Or will the winner simply be the region that establishes the most trusted, reliable governance?
Well, history gives us a very clear answer to that. Look at the adoption of commercial aviation or the electrical grid. Raw technological capability sparks the revolution, right? It gets people excited.
Yeah.
But trusted governance is what actually scales it into a utility. The ecosystem, whether it's an enterprise or a nation state that can guarantee a safe, auditable, and reliable AI infrastructure, will be the one that attracts the massive capital investments and earns the societal acceptance required to win the decade.
So, to sum it all up, the era of treating AI like a novel digital toy is definitively over. For anyone listening to this and mapping out their strategy for the next 5 years, the reality is stark. We have entered the institutional age.
We really have.
Multi-model ecosystems optimized for compute economics, intelligence embedded deeply into your operational workflows, edge-based trust verification, and rigorous outcome-driven evaluation. These are the new table stakes. Redesigning your institution around the technology is the only path forward.
The novelty has worn off. We are now in the grueling but highly lucrative phase of operational excellence.
Absolutely. But before we let you go, there is a fascinating cultural implication to all this efficiency and automation that we really want you to mull over.
Yeah, this is a fun one.
As AI becomes seamlessly embedded into every layer of corporate strategy, product design, and operations, as intelligence becomes incredibly cheap and ubiquitous, will we eventually see the rise of a premium human-made enterprise sector?
Like a luxury market for human effort.
Think about it.
Right.
Today, people willingly pay a massive premium for handmade artisanal furniture or bespoke clothing because they inherently value the human touch,
Imperfection.
the time it took. In 10 years, will tomorrow's consumers and investors place a premium on organizations that can cryptographically guarantee their workflows, their art, and their strategic decisions are strictly human? Will 100% human-operated become the ultimate luxury brand in a world run by autonomous agents?
I mean, when digital intelligence costs fractions of a cent, verifiable human effort might actually become the rarest and most expensive commodity on the market.
Definitely something to keep in the back of your mind as you navigate your own highly automated workflows this week. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the institutional age. Keep questioning the evolving digital architecture around you, and we'll catch you next time.